My beloved child, the time has come for you to pause and recognize that an important transition is calling you out of months of uncertainty and into a new assignment for your life. I have not come to frighten you, nor am I using these words to pressure you with the fear that you will lose everything unless you act immediately. I have come to awaken the awareness that has been sleeping beneath layers of exhaustion, disappointment, and prolonged waiting. There comes a time when you must stop chasing the things that merely help you survive from one day to the next and quietly ask yourself, what is truly being entrusted to me in this season? You have lived long enough with the feeling of being busy without moving forward, fulfilling many responsibilities while inwardly sensing no true alignment. Now I want you to understand that this discomfort is not necessarily evidence of failure. Sometimes it is the bell announcing that the garment of your former season has become too narrow for the growth taking place within you. You do not need to be perfect before you can be entrusted with a meaningful assignment. I saw you during the days when no one knew how hard you were trying. I saw the times you kept your word, even when others failed to keep theirs. The moments when you continued doing what was right without receiving recognition. And the nights when you wiped away your own tears and stepped outside the next morning with a calm appearance. You once believed that your faithfulness had been forgotten. But nothing good you did in secret became meaningless. The seasons without applause revealed your true character. The roads you had to walk alone taught you not to live only for praise. I did not choose you because you were never weak, but because you learned how to rise again, how to learn, and how to refuse to let what wounded you turn you into a bitter person. Your new assignment may not appear through a dazzling sign or a door that opens tomorrow. It may begin with a small but persistent prompting, an idea that continues returning even after you have repeatedly dismissed it, or a need around you that your heart cannot ignore. It may be a role you never believed you were qualified to carry, a project requiring your voice and experience, or a form of service that calls you to use the very things that once wounded you to strengthen others. Do not despise humble beginnings. A great path is often revealed through one small step you must choose with courage. I am not asking you to understand the entire journey before you begin. I only want you to be honest about what you have recognized and disciplined enough to take the next step. I know uncertainty has weighed heavily upon you for a long time. You tried to do more, accepted additional responsibilities, and told yourself that if you worked harder, the sense of being lost would disappear. Yet the busier you became, the more exhausted you felt. Some work helped you pay your bills, but consumed nearly all your strength, leaving you no time to build what you truly believed in. Some environments gave you a position, but no opportunity to grow, allowing your abilities to gather dust. I am not telling you to act recklessly, abandon all responsibility, or hastily leave the place currently providing stability. I want you to begin restoring order. Recognize what is merely a temporary means of support, what represents a long-term direction, and what is draining you without producing sufficient value. Financial pressure once made you feel as though you had no right to choose. One expense followed another, while your mind became increasingly weary and your ability to see beyond the present gradually narrowed. There were times when you believed you had to accept every job, every offer, and every form of treatment merely to keep your life from collapsing. But my beloved child, wisdom does not tell you to ignore reality. It teaches you to face reality without giving fear authority over your entire future. Begin with practical things. Review how you use your resources. Remove the expenses causing unnecessary loss. Develop skills that can create new opportunities. And set aside regular time to prepare for transition. A meaningful assignment does not oppose responsibility. It must be built through patience, planning, and honesty. You have also experienced betrayal from people who were once placed very close to you. Some smiled in your presence, but spoke words that damaged your reputation when you turned away. Others encouraged your vision. Then, later, used private things you trusted them with to shame you. Those experiences made you cautious about every opportunity for partnership and suspicious even of people who approached with good intentions. I understand your defensiveness. But I do not want those who once hurt you to continue determining how you view the entire world. Learn from what happened. Establish clear boundaries. And allow trust to be built over time. You do not need to reveal every plan while it is still forming. Give access merely because someone speaks beautifully. Or keep people near simply because you fear loneliness. Your new assignment will require mature companions, people capable of respecting you both when you are strong and when you do not yet have an answer. There are other battles you endured that were not easy to put into words. Prolonged exhaustion made even small tasks feel heavy. The nights when you awakened in the darkness, with your mind filled with troubling possibilities and your heart unable to rest, gradually weakened your confidence in your own ability. There were days when sadness whispered that you would never find purpose and that every effort would eventually lead to the same dead end. I want you to know that needing rest, seeking professional support, or speaking honestly about your condition is not a sign of weakness. Do not turn every symptom into a battle you must silently endure. Care seriously for your body, sleep, and mind. Your new assignment does not require you to destroy yourself in order to prove your faithfulness. It needs a person who understands their limits, seeks help when necessary, and builds healthy endurance. The reassignment I am speaking of begins with a change in how you see yourself. You are no longer merely someone trying to survive another day. You are becoming someone who knows what deserves your time, voice, and energy. This means you will have to say no to some invitations that once made you feel important, but did not move you closer to your purpose. You may need to reduce contact with people who come only to receive, but have never learned how to support you. You will also need to abandon the habit of postponing action until you feel completely ready. Confidence does not always come before action. Often, it is formed after you have dared to take small steps consistently. Do not allow outside pressure to make you confuse urgency with haste. What is truly meant for you does not need to be protected through panic. You have the right to consider, question, and verify before entering a major commitment. If someone tells you that an opportunity will disappear unless you decide immediately, be cautious. If a promise requires you to give money, private information, or loyalty before everything has been made transparent, step back. Wise guidance does not take away your ability to think. It makes you clearer. I want you to act from informed peace, not from the fear of being left behind. When you begin obeying the new direction, everything may not change immediately. Some doors may remain closed. Certain plans may need correction. And some people will not understand why you no longer live as you once did. But do not use delay as proof that you heard incorrectly. Evaluate the journey by deeper fruit. Are you becoming more upright? Are you learning discipline? Are you finding peace, even though much work remains? A right path is not always easy, but it helps you mature instead of continually stripping away your dignity. Continue adjusting. Continue learning, and remain willing to change your methods without abandoning your core values. Therefore, receive this time as an invitation to leave uncertainty behind, not as a threat forcing you to act in fear. Your new assignment will become clearer as you learn to care for yourself. Manage your resources, protect your boundaries, and remain faithful in small daily steps. I will not allow old failures to become the name of your future. Neither am I asking you to carry a great journey through your own strength alone. Move slowly, but do not remain still. Be humble, but do not diminish yourself. Be cautious, but do not let fear bind your feet. The season of waiting for clarity is gradually closing, and the answer will not come only through powerful emotion, but through peace, order, and courage expressed in each decision you make. I am beside you, leading you away from what has completed its role and drawing you closer to the work, people, and purpose suited to the person you are becoming. The loneliness you once endured was not evidence that you had been forgotten. It was a quiet space. I used to separate you from connections that were no longer sincere enough to walk with you into your next chapter. I know there were days when you looked around and wondered why people who had once been close suddenly became distant. Why certain doors opened slightly and then unexpectedly closed. And why things that seemed within reach were repeatedly delayed. You believed perhaps you had done something wrong or were not good enough to keep receiving. But, my beloved child, not every departure is a loss, and not every delay is a failure. Some distances were created so that your eyes could see more clearly, your ears could hear more accurately, and your heart would stop placing trust in people who remained only while they continued receiving some benefit. I allowed circumstances to change so that hidden motives could come into the light, not to cause you more pain, but to prevent you from continuing to give precious parts of yourself to places that did not know how to treasure them. As you began to mature, the reactions around you gradually became mirrors, reflecting what people carried within their hearts. Some smiled while you were weak, but became cold when you stood firmly. Some enjoyed listening to your struggles. Yet, when you spoke of a new opportunity, they immediately diminished your joy through doubt, comparison, or advice that appeared caring but was filled with insecurity. You do not need to hate them, because envy often rises from unhealed emptiness within the person who carries it. Yet, understanding does not mean you must continue allowing them to stand too close. I want you to learn how to be both compassionate and discerning, able to forgive while still establishing limits, and able to wish others well without returning to them the power to wound you. Their words may create noise for a while, but noise does not equal authority. What I am building within you is not founded upon public opinion, and therefore it cannot be destroyed by public opinion. During those very seasons, I was quietly strengthening your character. I was not only preparing a new position for you, I was also preparing you so that, when you were placed within it, praise would not make you arrogant, and criticism would not make you unstable. Had you been elevated while still dependent upon approval, you would have lived in exhaustion trying to preserve the attention of others. Therefore, I led you through seasons when no one applauded, days when your work was not recognized, and moments when you had to remind yourself that what was right was still worth doing, even without reward. I am building your confidence upon the truth of the value you carry, not upon praise that can change from one day to the next. People may celebrate you today and question you tomorrow, But what I have cultivated within you will not be shaken if you continue standing upon integrity. Those who opposed you judged you according to their own limitations, because they would surrender under pressure. They assumed you would also collapse, because fear easily controlled them. They believed that shaming, threatening, or isolating you would make you shrink yourself in order to regain comfort. They did not know that while they thought you were becoming weaker, I was expanding your endurance, deepening your understanding, and refining eyes capable of seeing beyond glamorous appearances. Every time you were misunderstood and still remained calm, you matured another degree. Every time you were provoked but refused to answer with cruelty, you reclaimed authority over yourself. The things once used to shame you became places where you learned dignity. The words spoken to diminish you helped you understand that true worth does not need validation from those who lack the ability to recognize it. You were chosen not because you have never made mistakes, but because you remain willing to return to what is right after every fall. I saw you choose trust during days when the evidence seemed to stand against hope. I saw you restrain your hands when your heart wanted to return the pain you had received. I saw you leave unhealthy conversations, even when doing so caused you to stand alone. That willingness is what makes you suitable for greater responsibility. Not everyone possesses enough courage to preserve their principles when compromise promises immediate advantage. Not everyone is gentle enough to forgive without denying the truth. And not everyone can continue doing good after being treated unfairly. Your difference is not found in a perfect appearance, but in your refusal to let circumstances turn you into a reflection of those who wounded you. A group united through envy will not need you to destroy it, because a structure without sincerity already carries collapse within itself. They may appear united while speaking about you, but a bond nourished by gossip soon becomes suspicion toward one another. The person who easily revealed your story today may reveal theirs tomorrow. The person who used comparison to judge you will eventually use the same measure against those standing beside them. I do not want you to desire anyone's destruction, because your heart was not created to rejoice in the failure of others. Allow natural consequences to teach them what they refuse to learn through humility. Your part is to leave that cycle with clean hands, carrying no bitterness and refusing to return merely to watch them receive the results of their choices. While fragile connections expose themselves, I am surrounding you with people who possess a different foundation. They will not regard your growth as a threat, nor will they need you to fail in order to feel valuable. They will be capable of sincerely rejoicing when you receive an opportunity, offering correction without humiliating you, and protecting what you share in trust. These allies may appear in very ordinary ways and may not make grand promises, but their consistency will give you a sense of safety that former noisy relationships never provided. I am opening conversations where your abilities are properly recognized, where the ideas you once had to hide are received with respect, and where you do not need to diminish your light in order to belong. Opportunities that were once obstructed are also being arranged again, but this time they will arrive with order, peace, and conditions more suited to the person you have become. Therefore, do not lower yourself merely to prove that what they said was wrong. When you live only to make others regret how they treated you, they are still controlling your direction. You do not need to win every argument or explain yourself before every accusation. There is a silence born from fear, but there is also a silence guided by wisdom. Silence at the proper time protects you from wasting strength in places where people do not want to understand. It allows truth time to reveal itself through results, consistency, and the way you continue living. While they are busy creating stories about you, use that time to build your foundation. While they examine your every step, focus on the path ahead. When they attempt to draw you into a hasty reaction, choose calmness. Because a person with purpose does not need to stop. For every voice calling from the roadside, "My beloved child," what is lasting is being formed during the very period when you believed you were isolated. I am teaching you no longer to seek shelter in the acceptance of the crowd, but to stand firmly in truth, compassion, and dignity. Those who thought they could slow you down will gradually recognize that every obstacle only made your steps more certain. The words they used to deny you will lose their weight when your life produces results that cannot be distorted. Continue moving forward without arrogance. Continue shining without retaliation. And continue keeping your heart tender without becoming naive. I did not lead you away from unhealthy relationships so that you would remain alone forever. I am making room for sincere companionship. I did not delay opportunity to punish you. I am correcting the timing and circumstances so that what comes to you no longer carries disorder. Let them speak if they still wish to speak. While you continue walking, while they look toward you in comparison, look ahead with gratitude. What I am doing in your life is not a flash that quickly fades, but a lasting work being built layer by layer through perseverance, wisdom, and your willing heart. I saw every tear you shed while watching others walk through the very door you believed you too had been called to enter. I know the sharp pain you felt when your joy for them suddenly became mixed with a sadness you did not want to admit. You blamed yourself for feeling jealous and believed the emotion made you small. But I do not look upon you with condemnation. I understand that behind that sorrow was a longing delayed for far too long. A calling you had carried through many seasons without knowing when you would finally see it take shape. You were not angry because others were blessed. You were simply weary of continually wondering whether your own time would ever come. I was present within every one of those moments, not distant, not indifferent, and never forgetful of what I had placed within you. You carried a vision many people around you could not understand, because they saw only your current circumstances while you sensed something greater calling you forward. You tried to use ordinary words to explain deep things that even you had only begun to perceive through faith. Some listened and offered polite smiles. Some regarded your dream as too great, and others advised you to settle for a more predictable life. Those responses gradually made you silent, not because the calling disappeared, but because you became tired of protecting something sacred before those who lacked the ability to understand it. You sat in rooms filled with laughter and still felt far away from everyone because no one could reach the depth of what you carried. Yet, my beloved child, that loneliness was not proof that you were walking the wrong path. Sometimes it simply meant I was leading you along a journey the crowd could not yet share. There were nights when you turned your heart toward me with questions you could not express in words. You asked why the silence continued for so long, why you had tried to remain faithful and still saw no change, and why sincere prayers seemed to disappear into the darkness. You smiled before others so that no one would worry. But inwardly, you gradually became weary from living between two realities, knowing you had been created for something meaningful while still seeing no clear path. What hurt you most was not only the waiting, but not knowing how to understand that season. You wondered whether you were being corrected or prepared, whether I was distant from you or drawing near in a way you could not yet recognize. Today, I want you to hear clearly, silence was never evidence of abandonment. When you could not see my hand, I was still working in places beyond the reach of your eyes. I did not allow you to pass through pressure merely to see how long you could endure. I used that season to strengthen what was within you. Because what is about to be entrusted cannot rest upon a weak foundation. There were doors I had to keep closed until your patience had become deep enough, your humility stable enough, and your discernment clear enough that praise would not carry you away. Had you been elevated too soon, what others called success might have become a weight that caused you to lose direction. Had your voice been amplified before your character was refined, you might have used the right gift from an immature position. Therefore, I covered you during a season when few people noticed, where you learned to do what was right without recognition, continue without immediate reward, and place your trust in me rather than in the responses of the crowd. You believed no one saw the times. You chose faithfulness in small things, but I recorded them all. I saw you continue working without praise. Preserve integrity when a shortcut was available, and protect your gentleness even after being treated unfairly. I saw the moments when you wanted to surrender, but eventually stood again, even if you had strength for only one small step. Those moments were not nameless before heaven. They became evidence that you could be trusted not only during radiant days, but also through seasons of darkness. Now I am bringing you out of the former way of seeing yourself, in which you believed you were merely being delayed. You were not held back because you lacked value. You were preserved because what is coming requires someone who has learned not to lose themselves when responsibility becomes greater. When I change your position, do not immediately assume that you are being lowered or that you have failed. Under my guidance, there are times when you are moved from a familiar place, not because you did something wrong, but because your season of service there has been completed. Rearrangement often confuses you because it removes what you know before revealing what is new. You may feel as though you are losing your role, influence, or direction. But in truth, I am expanding the range of your responsibility. I do not give great responsibilities to someone who has not learned faithfulness. I do not place precious things into the hands of someone controlled by temporary emotion. When I redirect you, it is a sign that what you learned in the former place must now be carried to a deeper level. This is why you are beginning to feel the weight more clearly. Things that once distracted you now make you uncomfortable. Shallow conversations no longer satisfy you. Habits you once considered harmless now feel heavy because you know you cannot enter something new with an old mind. This does not mean you have become difficult or withdrawn. It is evidence that responsibility is calling you to mature. When someone is entrusted with more, they can no longer continue living carelessly. Your attention becomes more precious. Your time must be more carefully protected. And the relationships around you must be chosen with greater discernment. Not everyone is permitted to enter the deepest part of this journey, because not everyone possesses enough respect for what I am building. I am teaching you that comfort does not always mean peace. Some places make you feel comfortable while keeping you small, and some steps make you tremble while carrying you closer to your purpose. In this new season, I will not allow you to remain satisfied with what is merely sufficient for survival. A deep prompting will continue stirring within you. reminding you that the time has come to live more intentionally, more courageously, and with greater discipline. You will have to release certain things that once made you feel safe, not because they are evil, but because they no longer fit the person I am calling you to become. Growth sometimes carries the appearance of loss, but later you will recognize that I was only freeing your hands so that you could receive something greater. Do not be afraid when others do not understand your transformation. They may say you have become distant, too serious, or no longer the person you once were. But you cannot remain forever in the same position merely to keep others comfortable. I have not called you to live by their approval. I have called you to walk in obedience, even when doing so requires you to leave familiar rooms. Some people know you only from the former season and will try to keep you within the version they can easily control. Love them, but do not give them authority to define the limits of your future. Those who truly belong to the road ahead will not fear your growth. They will respect your discipline, support your purpose, and refuse to make you diminish your light in order to preserve the relationship. My beloved child, what you have been waiting for has not been cancelled. The calling within you is not an illusion born from dissatisfaction. Yet I am not only preparing the door for you, I am also preparing you for the door. Now, as the wait increases, understand that it is not evidence that I am against you. It is an invitation to enter deeper maturity. Preserve humility. Protect your focus. And do not return to the distractions that once caused you to forget what you were created to do. The hidden season did not destroy you. It made you steadfast. Waiting did not take away your future. It gave you the ability to carry that future without losing the peace, integrity, and love I placed within you.